Hi guys, I'm Rachel. I'm a certified parenting coach, and welcome to my expert workshop on how to get your children to listen. Now, I understand the problem. I'm a mom of 3 young kiddos, and sometimes you need your child to do something, but they're either refusing or they're not responding. Now, the strategies I'm going to share with you today do not rely on yelling or punishment, and they actually work. So before we dive into the strategies though, I want to talk a little bit about our mindset. The goal here isn't to control or to force obedience from our children. We can't control people. If my 8-year-old is refusing to come into the house when I call her, I can't pick her up and take her into the house as I could my 3-year-old. So as they get older, it's going to get harder to control and to punish. So the strategies today aren't based in that. They're based in relationship. Also, our children are still developing their auditory processing skills well into their teen years. So that's their ability to hear the information, have their brain process it, and then act on it. So if that's still developing and we're punishing them for something that they do a little bit more slowly or aren't ready to follow through on yet, we're punishing them for something they actually can't do. These strategies help get around the fact that their auditory processing is still developing. So there are 4 strategies I have for you today. The first one is proximity. The next one is play, which works really well, especially for our younger children. The third one is connection. And then finally, boundaries and natural consequences. This is not the same as punishment. I'm going to break down each one. So proximity is just what it sounds like. It's getting proximate and close to your child when you're asking them to do something. So instead of shouting from the kitchen, "Hey, time to turn off the television," you're walking up to them. Maybe you're putting your hand on their shoulder and you're saying, "Hey bud, time to turn off the TV." Play is also just what it sounds like. And sometimes it's easier for us to access this play within ourselves when we're working with younger children. Things like, let's pretend we're dinosaurs as we march out the door. But we can also utilize play with our older kids as well. So something like, we gotta get to the restaurant because if our table's gone, we're probably gonna have to sit next to the bathroom. And I don't wanna smell the smelly bathroom while I'm eating my pasta. This could elicit a giggle and some playfulness and might help with compliance. Our third tool is connection, and this one is a little bit more in depth. It's definitely not a quick fix, but we can use connection both in the moment and also outside the moment throughout our day. The more we build connection with our children throughout the day, the more compliance or cooperation we'll feel when things get tough or when we need to move things along or ask our kids to do something. Finally, we have boundaries and natural consequences. And as I mentioned before, boundaries and natural consequences are not punishments. Boundaries are the things that you're going to do when your child isn't meeting expectations. So, for example, if they're not turning off the television, your boundary may be that you'll turn off the television and then actually follow through with that. If you've asked your child to pack their backpack the night before school and they don't do it, your boundary may be, "Hey, I've got work tomorrow, so if you forget your homework, I won't be able to run it to school for you." The natural consequence then, if they don't pack their bag, is that they don't hand in their homework. It's not a punishment. You didn't inflict it on them, but it's something that happens because of what they do or don't do. Now, when we started, I said that when a child isn't listening, they may be either refusing or just not responding to you. I want to talk about both of these and the tools that you can utilize the most with each situation. Let's start with non-responsive. I think this is the easiest one because it makes me think that we're still kind of in that zone of auditory processing development is still developing, and so you're going to rely on things like proximity and connection for those moments. So you ask your child to do something, you don't get a response, you don't get an acknowledgement, walk up to them, make sure they heard you, connect. Now let's talk about refusal. Let's use an example of it's time for your child to get out of the bath. Now, you can think of our tools and use them in sort of the order that I presented, right? So proximity, play, connection, boundaries, and natural consequences. Now, if you're bathing your child, you're probably already in the room with them, but if they're refusing to get out of the tub, maybe just get a little closer. Ask them again, make sure that they connected with your words and heard you. Now, if you're still refusing, try play. Make a fun game about getting out of the tub. I like to tell my kids, all right, it's time to get out of the tub. Do you want to get out like a rocket ship or an airplane? And then we can blast off or zoom out of the tub. If you tried play, still not working, try to connect a little deeper. Hey buddy, something about the tub is so fun right now, right? Do you want 2 more minutes? I'll sit with you for 2 more minutes. Now, if you've tried all of these things, your child's still refusing, it's time to use your boundaries. You can say to your child, I know the tub is so fun. It's time to get out. I'm gonna count to 3. You can either climb out or zoom out or rocket out like we talked about, or I'm gonna pick you up. And now actually do what you say you're gonna do. Pick your kid up out of the tub. It's not a punishment. You don't have to yell. You're being kind and loving, but you're using your leadership to move things along. Natural consequences might come into this scenario as well. Maybe you made plans to play a game of Uno before bed, but now there's no time. We spent more time in the tub, and so we don't have time for a game. And as a gift to you for sticking to the end of this video, click the link below to schedule a free chat with me about how I can support you and your parenting.